Welcome to Cedarcroft. My name is Barbara and this is my channel, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Today we are going to make broccoli cheddar soup in our slow cooker. It's really a great soup on a cold winter day. It's even a good soup on a summer day. It's easy to make. You don't have to heat up your kitchen, and let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is pour 8 cups of water into your slow cooker. Now we're going to start with 8 cups, and you may actually need to add a little bit more, but we're going to start with 8. There we go. The next thing we're going to add 2 large heads of broccoli or 3 bags of the frozen broccoli florets. Our next ingredient would be chicken bouillon. Now you can use better than bouillon, you can use this chicken base, you can use a powdered bouillon. This one is a chicken base. Now when I say 2 tablespoons, I mean, measure with your heart. So I am going to put my big spoonful of chicken base in there, and I'm calling that 2 tablespoons. Okay. The next thing you're going to add is 4 tablespoons of butter, and that's half a stick. The next 3 ingredients are spices, and you will add these as you wish. The ingredients include 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of Mrs. Dash, or the equivalent of Mrs. Dash. So if you really like garlic, you can add a little more, make it your own. But this is the time that we want to add the seasonings, the spices, so that the flavor can get all mixed in. And that's all we're going to do for now, is put those spices in, and then we're going to turn this on high and let it set until everything gets bubbly and the broccoli starts cooking down. It may take 3 hours, it may take 4. It just depends on how hot your slow cooker gets. So I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna get this going. We'll come back when it's ready for the next set of ingredients. Did you think I forgot the spices? I didn't. Here's our Mrs. Dash. Onion powder. Garlic powder. And the lid. Okay, it has been 3 hours and 45 minutes, not quite 4 hours. And remember, I put my broccoli in a frozen state. If you want to speed this up, definitely cook your broccoli just a little bit before you put it in the soup, before you start making soup with it. It will just speed it up just a little bit. So almost 4 hours in the crock pot, and it's definitely hot. I don't know if you can see the steam or not. So we just have a few more ingredients to add in order to make this the yummy, delicious, creamy soup that we want. So the first thing we're gonna do is take a 1/2 cup of cool water, just tap water, and 1/4 cup of flour, just all-purpose flour, and we're going to put that in the water. We're just going to make a little bit of a thickener, And I'm going to take a fork and just whisk that in the water. So that we can have thickener here. There we go. We just don't want any lumps. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we don't want any lumps, okay? So what we're going to do now is take that same fork, we're gonna pour this mixture in, and we're just gonna give it a little bit of a wiggle in there. There we go. Just gonna stir it around a little bit vigorously. There we go. Okay, so that is going to help thicken the soup, okay? The next thing we're going to add is 4 cups or 1 quart of half and half or whole milk. It's up to you. The thicker it is, the more thick your soup will be, but either one will work. So we're going to, and what I did also, I put it in this glass container and I heated it so that I'm putting hot milk into hot soup, okay? There we go. The last thing that we're going to add right at this moment is going to be 4 cups of cheese. So you can do 3 or 4 cups of shredded cheese. Now I have my cheese here, and it was shredded cheese, and I used my food saver, and it turned it into this. It will break up, but right now, you see it breaks up like that. So it is definitely breaking up, which is fine for this soup, but just note to yourself, you may not want to use your food saver for your cheese, your shredded cheese, because you won't get shredded cheese back. You'll get clumpy cheese. So I am going to take my spoon and I'm going to give that a stir with the cheese and the milk and the water with flour, and it is going to cook for another 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the heat of your slow cooker. And you can see, oh yeah, you can see that cheese is already starting to melt. I don't know if you can see that. The cheese is already starting to melt, which is good. So at this stage, you're going to want to, you know, keep giving it that little stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. But all of these big chunks of broccoli will just start breaking down. You can just take your wooden spoon and kind of give them a little mash. You see how that works? And that way you are just encouraging the soup to get a more tender, small pieces kind of a thing. Now, if you want to be, you know, if you're in a hurry and you want to use your I call it a zhuzher. If you want to use your handheld blender, you can do that. But either way is fine. I don't personally care for the way the blender can make, especially if they're still a little crunchy, if it can make little tiny bits of, you know, chopped vegetable. But you do exactly what works for you. So this is good. I'm going to keep this going for another half hour to an hour and let it come back up to a full heat. And then the last thing we're going to do is give it a little taste and add salt and pepper to our flavor mix, just to make sure that we have the right blend of spices. If there's any other flavor that you feel like you need to add at that time, you can do that. So we're gonna let this cook and I'll be back when it's time to taste test. So at this point in the process, I forgot to use my microphone. And so I recorded this whole last part without audio. This soup is so delicious. It had the perfect amount of flavor, the perfect amount of broccoli. Maybe you could put some more cheese on top when you serve it, The only thing that I wish I did was give it a little more time to cook because it was still just a little bit thin. It needed to be a little bit thicker, and all it needed was a little more cooking time. But when I did the taste test, I was too much in a hurry. I needed to taste this soup, and it really was delicious. On this night, I made some biscuits to go with the soup, and it really was delicious for dinner. The whole family enjoyed it, and we will definitely be making this again. So as always, thank you for joining me here at Cedarcroft, and thank you for watching the video. Hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future recipes or videos, and we'll see you next time.